So progress continues on the veg patch. We've now filled that bottom one. That is probably going to have a combination of potatoes and pumpkins. We have now started filling the top raised bed. This gives you an idea of how we're doing it. So we've got the original soil at the back. We're laying a little bit of compost on the top. The johnniness then goes on top of that. Then another layer of compost on top of that. And it all gets mixed together very thoroughly. And it basically comes out looking something like that. So this bed, as we have already discussed, has been seeded out. Today I moved over some of our kale that has been growing up in the top trugs. Those top trugs have to get freed up because I want to grow strawberries up there. And I've also pulled out one of the grow tunnel cloches that we bought on eBay. I've got to say I'm not particularly thrilled by the quality of these items, but it will be interesting to see if they do work. I've actually put it over that particular side because it's got some vegetables that are a little bit more susceptible to frost, but we can see that the beds are beginning to take shape. I think once that bed is filled, I probably won't finish it today, but once it is finished, we will then complete the paling fence on this side. These two portions, we'll leave the gate open. The large chicken wire arrives later today, so that will then have to run. Hello, Leopold. Say hello. Oh, well done. Then we will run chicken wire on the inside of the paling fence all the way down, on the inside curling away all the way up to the flower beds, or to the raised beds. That will hopefully keep any potential rabbits out. We're also going to keep the grass a little bit longer on the outsides of the veg patch, purely because we've actually seen it. I don't know whether it's true or not, but somebody once told us that rabbits don't actually like the long grass, so they don't actually tend to feed out there. Our top lawn is probably testament to that. When we don't cut it for a couple of weeks and it gets, I mean, not anywhere near as tall as this, we never see rabbits, and as soon as we mow the lawn, the rabbits are out in full force. So hopefully that will also be a slight deterrent. Oh, and the other thing that is worth mentioning is that this patch here, we have planted out comfrey. Basically, comfrey is a plant that is great for the compost heap. It's rich in all three of the NPK elements, so we'll definitely be growing that down on the side here, so that we've got close and quick access to the compost heap. You can also make comfrey tea, which apparently is absolutely fantastic for feeding your tomatoes. So that's something that we're hoping will start growing quite quickly. We've still got probably about 6 weeks before the tomatoes go in, but we'll see. And then we have a second area that we have planted out with comfrey on this side, so it'll just be nice to have a couple of flowers. Still undecided as to what's going to go along the length or along the front of this paling fence, but we have ordered rosemary, nice big established rosemary bushes that are going to get planted out in front here. So that is this particular update on our veg patch. Work continues, and yeah, it's been rewarding. So I just hope that once we have everything in, it is as big a success as we're hoping it to be. Today we're going to continue filling the raised beds with soil. Hopefully we'll be able to complete at least 2 more before we run out of soil. We're expecting a soil delivery this week, but at least that'll be the bulk of the raised beds completed, which will be great. The next exercise that awaits is to rabbit proof our veg patch. The original plan was to dig a 30 centimeter trench into the ground and then drop the chicken wire, which we have here, into the ground and then bury it. But as we started to do that, with the way that the posts operate, in the actual paling fence, you do get weak corners that start to form at the base there, because basically it's buried into the ground, and obviously you can't bury it into the concrete. So we've had to shelve that idea, and what we've done now is we've purchased an extra wide chicken wire, which is well over a meter. And what we're going to do is it's going to be big enough to cover these gaps in the step fencing as it works its way down the field, and because it's extra wide, it's going to run all the way from the paling fence all the way through to the raised beds. So that is well over a meter the whole way around the veg patch, and that will basically mean that the rabbits just won't simply be able to burrow that far. In addition to that, we will then fix the actual chicken wire to the raised beds for extra strength. And in the pathways where we obviously can't attach it to anything, we've bought extra long stakes that we will drive into the ground, so that will create a lot of strength going forward. And in case you're wondering why we would want to do it that way and walk all over chicken wire, we're not. We're then going to bring a lot of cardboard that we've been accumulating for a long period of time. That cardboard will go over the chicken wire. That will obviously first and foremost suppress the grass from trying to grow up, and then we have ordered a lot of bark that will come, and we will lay the bark on top of that so that we have a nice soft area to walk on, and it will also look really, really presentable, and it will probably contrast quite nicely with the raised beds. So it's going to both be aesthetic as well as useful. As you have also probably noticed, the plastic cloche that we bought off eBay is gone. It was an absolute waste of money buying that. It was very poorly made. It was going to blow away at the first biggest wind. So we have made an alternate plan. We've purchased quite a few different materials to basically protect our beds in numerous ways. That is something that we will get onto at a later stage, purely because the materials that we've purchased are probably going to take 7 to 10 days to arrive. But there is a contingency plan in place. It's a very, very good plan. It is going to be a lot of work in the short term, but in the long term it's going to provide us with a lot of benefit, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in on that, because it's really going to, I believe, take our veg patch to a whole new level. So as I said, that's it for now. Enough talking, more lifting. I'm gonna start walking up and down again with the wheelbarrow. We are once again in a bit of a holding pattern. We're waiting for more soil to arrive so we can fill the remaining raised beds on this side, and we're also waiting for other materials to build our protective boxes, which we'll discuss at a later stage. So today is the task that I've kind of been looking at putting off for a while. Not looking forward to it, working with chicken wire. So this is our rabbit proofing now. What we're going to be doing is utilizing the bottommost parts of the paling fencing. We're going to be attaching the chicken wire to that, and we're going to be running it as deep as we can. So we're going to be starting with the 60 centimeter wide chicken wire. This is the narrowest of our walkways or pathways. The rest of them are all a meter wide. This one's about 70 centimeters. So what we're going to do is it's going to get stapled onto that paling fencing bottom rail, as I said. It's then going to run inwards. It will probably not reach the edge where we want to, so we'll just lay down another one on top of that, because we have got a lot of chicken wire. We're going to make it really strong. We've got pegs that we're going to drive into. So for the chicken wire, as we said, I've got my pre-cut piece which I've put into the corner. I've run it the full length of one segment of paling fencing. This is the 60 centimeter wire, so it's going to come to an end there. What I'll do is I'll double up on that. I'm going to lay another piece down here through there. We will use these stakes to keep it in place, and we are using our staple gun to drive the staples into the wood to make sure that the netting stays on nice and tight. So we can see that it's going to wrap around the corner there. I'm going to go around and just get a couple of extra staples in on that side. Then what we'll do is the long 1.2 is going to come this way. They're going to overlap each other. So all of this area that I'm actually sitting on now is going to be basically doubled up as a chicken wire kind of safeguard to keep the rabbits out. So what we'll do next is we'll then push all of this down once all the staples are in place. And then we're going to use these stakes. We'll drive them in. We've got an axe that we will knock them in with, and they will hold the chicken wire down, keep it tight there. So even if the rabbits do try to burrow, they're going to start trying to burrow from that side. As they keep coming, they'll keep hitting more and more chicken wire. This has taken the better part of 3 days. It was a really huge undertaking in the end, which I never fully appreciated would be this labor intensive. So we've got it running about 1 meter from the paling fence through to the raised beds, which is a significant amount obviously, which should prevent rabbits from going in. We work all the way around. It's absolutely everywhere now except near the gate, which I'm just going to have to see what the gap is going to be between the gate and how I address that. But it's been a huge amount of work, purely because you have to first staple the chicken wire to the paling fence. Then once that's done and it's nice and tight, you then use the hooks or the stakes or the pegs to get it into the ground, so that you get a nice strong area so that rabbits or other animals can't burrow into it. Then you've got to make sure that it gets driven into the ground, especially around vulnerable areas like that. And then as you go along, you want it to be tight, so you knock them in very closely. In the end, I think I've gone through about 600 pegs, just getting them into the ground. That in itself has basically taken almost an entire day of just doing that, because you do want it to be even. As I'm walking on it now, it is actually very tight underfoot. It's not sliding, it's not moving. So as our next step, when we actually do lay the cardboard on top of it, it'll obviously suppress the grass and the weeds growing underneath it, and then the bark will go on top of that, so nothing's going to move. The chicken wire will stay very much in place. So that's that portion done. I'm very relieved that it's finished. The next step, we're still waiting for the delivery today of the remaining soil. Then that's going to go in, and we will then be on our way to planting some more vegetables. That's it for part 3. Tune in for part 4, when we start to build our ultra mesh boxes, and we also build our heavy duty frames to accommodate our runner beans and cucumbers. See you then. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. You can also follow us on Twitter or check out our website at myhomefarm.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos you would like to see, please leave a comment. We hope to see you on our next video.